Hey friends, my name is Joseph Rahm and I'm the lead pastor of Eastside Christian Fellowship. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I'm honored by your desire to learn more about who we are as a church and where we believe God is leading us. And because you're watching this video, then you likely consider yourself a part of this body of believers, are considering joining us, or for one reason or another have a special interest in learning more about who we are and where we're going. If you've been following our recent communication, then you know that we are in a vision renewal process, which we are calling Next Chapter. The entire purpose of Next Chapter is to implement what we believe are the necessary changes in order to appropriately and successfully respond to God's call to make disciples throughout the Puget Sound, particularly here on the East Side. The following video will give you insight into one specific aspect of Next Chapter. My hope and prayer is that you would not only be encouraged by the direction God is leading this church, but that you would also consider how the Holy Spirit may be leading you to become more involved in joining with us in making disciples. I hope you enjoy the following video and find it helpful in learning more about who we are and where we're going. Thanks. Hey friends, welcome to the 6th video in the Next Chapter video series. This is Pastor Joseph Rahm, and I want to just provide a little bit of a closure or summary or insight as we wrap up this video series. I see this as kind of the culmination, the coming together of both the Next Chapter video series and the Engaging Culture mini-series that we've been going through these last few weeks on Sunday evenings. And so I want to kind of set the foundation here with Jesus's last words to his disciples. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to obey everything that I have commanded. And you know, as we think about this in light of the Engaging Culture mini-series, there's really two things going on here. First, we're making disciples of those within this body of believers. And so that doesn't just fall on the staff or the pastors or the elders, but it's a responsibility that's given to every single follower of Jesus Christ. And we do that, as we've talked about recently, to establish this body where true love, 1 Corinthians 13 love, exists within this body. Where people who come in, they see patience and kindness, they see forgiveness, they see a church body that doesn't celebrate wrong but celebrates truth. And it's out of this kind of love, it's out of this kind of body that we then go outside the walls of the church and we engage the culture around us. And so I want to encourage us all to think about these 5 elements that we've discussed over these last few weeks is kind of setting the groundwork or building up this foundation within the walls of this body of believers so that we're able to then go and make disciples. You know, the last part of this verse from Jesus in Matthew chapter 28 is teaching them to obey everything that I have commanded. And the temptation here is to feel as if this obedience is kind of like a yes, sir, yes, ma'am, bowing down. And while sometimes we have to kind of muster up the strength to do that, really this obedience comes from a heart that is connected with Jesus. And so I want to kind of wrap all of this up by just encouraging you, by asking you, by motivating you, where is your heart in all of this? Where's your soul? Where do you find your peace? Because it's out of that individually and corporately as a body, we then go and make disciples. It's out of that where obedience is not necessarily just a response to a mandate, but it's out of true relationship that we seek to obey Jesus. And so, friends, as we lead into these coming months, as we seek to establish the foundation that God has called us to, let's see these 5 elements of change, the change in small groups, the changes in Sunday worship, the things that we've discussed in these past weeks. Let's look at these things through the lens of making disciples. God has called this body in this place and time, in this location. We're here in downtown Kirkland, is God has called us to make disciples. And so would you join me? Would you join the staff? Would you join the elders and the pastors at responding to God's call of making disciples, not only here in Kirkland, but around the entire East Side? I'm so eager and I'm so excited to see the work that God is going to do in and through us in the coming months and in the coming years as we land in this new building, as we pursue the vision that God has given us in making disciples on the East Side. So thank you for joining us recently as we've walked through these different elements of change. Thank you for joining us in the Engaging Culture mini-series that we're done. And now it's time to go and do the work. Now it's time to be who God has called us to be in making disciples. I pray for you each and every week and am eager and excited for the work that God is going to do in and through us. Thanks, and God bless.